The Breakfast Club radio show is in the news right now because one of its co hosts, Jessica Moore, aka Just Hilarious, went on Instagram Live to attack and denigrate her co host of the show, Charlamagne, DJ Envy, and Lauren LaRosa, accusing them of backstabbing and deceitful practices while Jess was on maternity leave. Before I add my conversation to that subject, if I could, I wish I can ask Miss Jess Hilarious a few questions. Is this about your maternity leave not being respected or honored? Is this about your co-workers not backing you and protecting you from trolls? Is this about your segments on the show slowly being eliminated and handed over to Lauren LaRosa? You said a lot on your Instagram in that long rant that you did. I could ask 12 more questions based upon your accusations and finger pointing. But none of that mattered. Not one of those things mattered. And the reason why is that the Breakfast Club was in a mountain high full of hot water just 2 weeks ago. At that time, the Breakfast Club took it upon itself to crack jokes and be a bully to a 13-year-old black boy who is a cancer survivor and who has had over a dozen brain surgeries. Some of you are probably saying right now, oh yeah, that did happen. Let me back this up for those who don't know. I'm going to go back to those 2 weeks ago when Donald Trump held a TV show for the world to see. And while doing so, he introduced 13-year-old DJ Daniel, as I described before, a cancer survivor with multiple brain surgeries. While doing so, Trump relayed that the boy's wish was to be a police officer so he can grow up and help his community. Trump, which we know he was just using the kid for an opportunity. Let's be real. Trump made him an honorary Secret Service officer, badge and all, and the camera cut to the youngster being held up for what we think is his dad while he's flashing a badge. That picture and video is the reason for my comments here. Once the video came to be about, it was used on the Breakfast Club radio show. The one person I found serious in the whole matter was Lauren LaRosa, who was the reader of the news at that time. Lauren LaRosa spoke of 13-year-old DJ Daniel, though she did throw the accusation out there that Trump was basically using the kid. Let's not get that twisted. Some people believe that. A lot of people believe that. And she said that. While reading the story, they were watching a video, picture, or whatever. And Charlamagne yells out, "That boy's head is nappy. His hair is nappy." you gotta have the shot. You gotta take a breath for what he said. That was mean. That was being a bully. Jess Hilarious said, it's not nappy. And then a whole lot of conversation came about DJ Envy talking, Lauren LaRosa talking, Charlamagne talking, Jess talking. And Charlamagne basically is saying, I don't care what you say, his hair is nappy. Jess Hilarious said, his hair is not nappy, it's patchy. And then we get DJ Envy throwing in, what, he's black? Well, the fact that Charlamagne had the audacity to keep repeating that boy hair is nappy was disgusting enough for me. I'm gonna say what I felt was disgusting apart from that. Immediately what happens is the black community especially went in cancel culture mode and they went after Jess Hilarious. People saying she should be fired immediately. I can't believe she said something like this with her hair looking like her hair looks. I know you think you're a comedian, but you're not funny. So notice what I'm saying. All the attacks that I saw was at Jess Hilarious saying what she said. One or two sprinklings of it said, Charlamagne said this. Charlamagne continues to be that dude that does this type of nonsense, and I don't see how he continues to get away with that. Right now, I want to share with you what my issue is on this here. All over YouTube, there were calls to cancel the Breakfast Club, calling for Jess Hilarious to be fired. And then we can't get past the fact that DJ Envy just yells out, that boy's black? And that's not even being mentioned. What was he talking about? The calls that I'm speaking of that's demanding that Jess Hilarious be fired were stupid. When there at the same time was no call for Charlamagne to be fired. If you know anything about instigators, Charlamagne is an instigator. He lobbed that softball out there. Jess Hilarious, I truly believe, from what I heard her say, his hair's not nappy, it's patchy. I believe in her mind that she thought she was defending that kid. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But think about what I just said. You got one person saying his hair is nappy, and the second person saying it's not nappy, it's patchy. That is a defense. But you want her fired and replaced. But Charlamagne's okay in your book. That's goofy. That makes no sense. But let me show you why I wanted to do this show. Because, be it the Breakfast Club, or Charlamagne, or iHeartRadio, or whoever, truthfully, they went to brilliant mode. There was serious screaming and yelling in the black community about cancellation. Somebody was going to be canceled. The show, Charlamagne or Jess. What happens next? 2 weeks later, Jess is on Instagram lobbying accusations against her co-workers that are not fireable offenses. You're talking about them, only Envy asked about my baby. You're talking about You didn't tell me that Lauren was going to be here when I came back. You're talking about I got a comedy career and you can't make me come to the radio station. I got comedy. All of that is called deceptive practices. It is a deceptive practice. Look at my hand here while this hand is doing whatever it wants to do. Look at this hand here. Don't look at this one no more, the one that everybody was screaming about. And nothing now today is being mentioned about the young man with the nappy hair. Nothing is being mentioned about Charlemagne. Nothing's mentioned about canceling the Breakfast Club. Now I will say this here. When I say brilliant, I mean brilliant. Because if all you lose out of this is just hilarious, it was great. That was a chance you was going to lose the show or lose Charlemagne. And these fools out here love their Charlemagne. Now, this makes our black community look like we can't handle but one thing at a time. Or it seems that we have short-term memory and forgot what happened just 2 weeks ago. Either way it goes, that don't look good. They turned around and put the okie doke on the black community social media. They controlled what they say was the narrative. They told you what to look at and what not to think about anymore. My being a wrestling fan all my life, when you have wrestlers, and I'll give names like this here, when you have wrestlers like Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, and they fought from February through May, 2 different pay-per-views. They beat each other everywhere they saw. And then all of a sudden, 2 out of 3 matches goes to one of the persons, and then they forget about each other, and they go on to a new storyline. This is what I'm trying to describe to you. This is a storyline. This Just Hilarious at home on Instagram calling out her co-workers is a storyline. They don't have legit beef against each other. It's a distraction to get you off of that crap about Charlemagne calling a cancer patient a nappy-headed boy. And it's working. You're not talking about it no more. YouTube, Instagram, everything talked about that fool calling that boy that. The one thing you do is put Just Hilarious under the bus. The second thing you do is protect Charlemagne at all costs. This is what I see. And this is why I waited so long to even speak on it. Because I wanted to see how and what was next. I'm not into cancel culture. I'm not into cancel this and cancel that. But I'm not for is our community falling for okie dokes. They call it sleight of hand in the magician world. Like I said, it needs to be looked at. It needs to be addressed because what they did with Just Hilarious and Instagram was very orchestrated. It was a thing of beauty. And I'm not celebrating them. I'm just telling you what I see. And I hope others can see now. So I'm going to say I saw it too. I was thinking the same thing. And then you have others that go, oh, it makes sense what you're saying right now. Because when it's all said and done, Just Hilarious is going to go and do some stand-up. And then come back and do some more radio. Lauren LaRosa is the innocent party in this here. Her hands will be clean. Charlemagne and DJ Envy already have dirty hands. Ain't enough soap to clean their hands for what they're doing outside of radio. Then get back on radio and they like finger pointing and laugh at people and call people donkeys. Well, Charlamagne, you are the donkey. You got away with it. Give yourself an applause. I'm going to go ahead and close this out and say I'm frustrated about it only because people don't keep their eyes on the prize. Thank you all for following me and your support. And if you will, please give me some likes and hit me up in the comments. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.